What's up, everybody? I just realized I don't have a button on my stream deck for Star Trek, so I'll have to switch that manually. Good old manual. Um, Welcome to the stream, everybody. It is time for Star Trek Adventures, our brand new game on this channel, and we'll be doing this on Thursday nights. I'm going to turn it directly over to our DM. It's not DM, it's GM. I got to change that. Talon, take it away, sir.
So we are going to be playing Star Trek Adventures from Modiphius. It is using a currently in beta Star Trek Adventures rule set that Static is working on. So keeping in mind this is a beta rule set, nonetheless, it is fully functional. And we're looking forward to putting it through its paces. As it stands, we currently have a crew of 5 people on the bridge. Some of you have already decided on your crew positions. For those of you that haven't, you'll be doing that today. And for those of you that have, you'll be thinking about putting together your support crew for your departments, for each of the department heads that you're running. That all being said, maybe we should do a little introduction of all of the players for the stream. That being said, I'll go first. My name is Talon on the boards. I've run a few different systems on Fantasy Grounds for, several years now. Started with D&D, Pathfinder, Star Finder, basically anything that is new on Fantasy Grounds that I can't find a group for locally, I'll play or run it on Fantasy Grounds. So really excited to do Star Trek Adventures because Star Trek is the one sci-fi property that I've just been dying to get some time in. So really appreciate you guys all jumping in and playing on this. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. I'm Aaron. My name on the stream is Penumbra. I'm fairly new to Fantasy Grounds, so I haven't really played that many games, only a couple of games of Pathfinder. I've played numerous games of Star Trek Adventures and really enjoy it, so looking forward to participating.
All right. How about Shraz?
Yeah, my name's Tim. I'm Linda Rander on the stream. I've never played Star Trek Adventures before. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been trying to find a group for about a year, so I'm really looking forward to this. I'm not familiar with Twitch. I'm not familiar with Fantasy Grounds too much. I've done a little bit, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Trakar?
Sorry, that was me. I should have introduced my character as well.
Apologize for that.
Which is a Cation.
All right, how about Taprat?
Can't hear you. Is that Thane? We can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Sorry about that. Turning on my headphones evidently caused problems. This is I'm Thane on the boards. I'm playing Taprak, Vulcan medical officer. New to Star Trek Adventures, not new to Star Trek, but I'm hoping to learn more about the game as my players in my normal group actually want to start playing this. So I look at this as not only role playing but also a learning opportunity. I've been an Ultimate license holder. I've been playing Fantasy Grounds, I don't know, probably about 8 years, somewhere in that time. And looking forward to it.
I'm Boffrin. Known Rob for a little bit around here, just a bit. And I've played in a couple Star Trek games that Talon's been gracious enough to run during FG Con. I think the first one was FG Days, was it? Or was it also FG Con?
It might have been one of the FG days, and then it kind of grew from there.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least, I believe we've got Rob.
Probably, certainly least, for sure. Yes, Rob Toohey, for those of you that are regular channel watchers, you will know that I am normally a 5e guy, probably strictly a 5e guy, but I've been a Star Trek fan my entire life, and I'm hugely excited about playing Star Trek Adventures. And of course, I'm very familiar with Fantasy Grounds and not familiar with this RPG. I played one session only with Talon previously, and so I'm a little excited to get started. Can't wait. And I don't have a character yet, but it was decided a moment ago that I'm gonna somehow be the ship captain, and it was a lot of people yelling "not it," and then now I'm gonna be the captain, so that's gonna be fun.
So that actually transitions nicely to our current crew. Right now, we have Teproc, who is a Vulcan chief medical officer. We have Shraz Tharhat, and if I butchered the pronunciation,
That's it. I think you nailed it.
That is our Andorian chief of security. We have Trakar, who is a I say Cation. I'm not sure the pronunciation from the old animated show. That is our helmsman. So that leaves Rob as some form of captain and Bofrin TBD. So for this session 0, what we're looking to do is have the characters create their bridge officers, some of which, as we've mentioned, have already created them. For those people, I think it would be a good idea to create some of your crew, because in this game, there are going to be moments where your bridge officers are going to stay on the bridge and you're going to be sending down your red shirts. They're not all going to be red shirts, but there's a reason why we chose the original series, and red shirts may die, so don't get too attached to them. So we're gonna go with that. So that being said, I don't want to monopolize this. In addition to, I'll hand off to the players to discuss how they want to crew the bridge and the ship. We're going to have to decide on what ship you're going to be using and a name for that ship. So those are the things I think we need to accomplish before we go into the nuts and bolts of the system and perhaps kick off our first mission.
Okay.
So why don't we start with Bofriend? Since we have an idea who everybody else is on the bridge right now, what are you looking to play?
Let's see. We've got security covered. Captain's going to be Rob. Let's see. Bridge crew positions that are open. Is Teproc going to be the science officer?
Medical officer. I don't know. You guys know the game system better than me. Would that be appropriate?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, no.
Medical
Yeah.
officer is a great position on the crew. You can have the science officer be somebody else. You can try checks that would traditionally be a science officer with non-science officers, but that probably is a good role since that's not currently populated.
We also don't have an
Yep.
engineer.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Indeed. Oops.
No, I know.
I think if we don't have any skills in engineering, then that's probably a better choice, considering that the medical does have science as well.
Yep. But lad, my Scottish accent just is not great.
So science sounds good.
Yep, we'll go for science then.
So with this system, what you do is you basically pick the ship assignment that you want, and in this case, Bofrin has decided. You're going to pick a species. We are, for the purposes of this campaign, going with the original series, so there are some limitations on which species you can select for the original series. You're going to stay away from next generation characters and later. And then it primarily is an issue of identifying what your attributes are, your disciplines, focuses, which will help in different checks, and most importantly, perhaps, are your talents. And there are a whole host of different talents you can select. Now, the nice thing about this system is, while it's not a fully commercial release yet, although Static has indicated that's the goal, it's not very crunch heavy. So it's pretty easy to create modules into a library for the different books and have them available. And we've done that. If you go into the library, you can see the different books that are available to you. And at the very least, all of the talents are in there and some of the descriptions of some of the things you'll be using. We've also done that with the toolkit, which gives you a number of cheat sheets for the rule set. And if you haven't gone through those cheat sheets, those are going to be very useful for you with your different roles. There's a cheat sheet for each role, and then things on what you can spend momentum on and things like that. And we'll explain the different mechanics of the system for those of you that are new to it once we go through it. So that all being the case, then, Bofrin, if you want to start putting together your character as we're talking, we can move on to Rob, and then once Bofrin, you're done, you can describe the different things you've selected. But Rob, we know you're going to be the captain. What are you thinking in terms of how you're going to spec the captain out?
Definitely human, and as far as his background, I think I would want to. I mean, this is a little meta, but I mean, we're putting a crew together, so I don't see why it can't be meta. I would want to fill in his background as something we are missing. So a specialty in engineering or something that we don't have, basically.
Yep, that can absolutely work. Keep in mind, everybody is going to be selecting supplemental crew members as well. So if we get to a point where an engineer is needed and we haven't selected them for our primary senior bridge crew, somebody can create a crew member engineer and use that as their primary.
Oh, okay.
Character.
So then maybe I want to stick with command then, since diplomacy and that whole thing's going to be my whole thing all the time. Maybe, I mean, I don't know how deep we're going into it. Like, did we all graduate from Starfleet at different times? Did we know each other? I mean, I don't really know how this is going.
Yeah, so that's a good question. You are all graduating from Starfleet at the same time. You are starting your first 5-year mission, and you've been assigned this ship to go on your initial exploratory mission. So just by way of background, here's the initial captain's log for the start of your 5-year mission on stardate 1416.4. If you want to go ahead and read that as the captain.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Captain's log, stardate 1416.4. We leave Starbase 4 ready for what's out there, for what lies beyond the edge of the known space. She's a fine ship with a fine crew, one of the best in the fleet. I could not be more proud of to be their captain. This 5-year mission into unknown is one we have prepared for all our lives. And I'll be honest, it promises to be a fine adventure. Beep. Okay, so does that mean we all have the same rank?
No, you have different ranks. It's not that big of a deal. Some of you are commanders, some of you are junior commanders, some of you might be deciding to be ensigns. It's not a huge mechanic for any real purposes, so not a big deal. But you do have different ranks in here.
Okay. I rename my guy Captain something.
Yeah, picking names is the hardest part.
Yeah, that
Of any
just
game.
came to me. I have no idea why that popped into my head, but it did. Captain Avalon. I haven't got a first name yet.
Nice.
Well, I just got a first name. I don't know. It just came to me. I have no idea. Subject to change. Okay, so yeah, now what else do I need to know to flush this guy out?
So there is, let me get to the chapter on creating the character, but frankly, the easiest way to create the character is to use the Modifius online character generator.
Yep, I can do that. I'll go do that. And as a matter of fact, I'll change the screen so people can see me do that. But then we'll still be, I guess am I going to need help to do that, or is it a kind of a walkthrough thing? I mean,
I think it walks you through it pretty easily. So as you go through it, it'll be pretty self-explanatory. And for those of you, while we're talking to different people right now, if you want to start creating your ancillary crew members, feel free to start doing that as we're talking through this on the stream. But yeah, Rob, if you went to the character generator site, I think it'll walk you through it pretty easily.
Okay.
It's a series of questions that you answer, and it gives you options to select.
Okay, so I'll do that then.
And for those of you that have played Star Trek Adventures more often, feel free to jump in, because I've only DM'd this twice, or GM'd this twice, and played it once. So I am by no means an expert on this. So if you've got familiarity with it, I'm more than happy to be corrected on anything, or appreciate the background you might lend on it. So I think a couple of you said you had played this before.
Oh, so it's asking me to pick my attributes.
Yep,
just select 3, it says. Okay.
Yep. So, and while you're doing that, for those of you that don't know, your attributes and your disciplines are going to form the basis for your roles in this 2D20 system. So the basic check for any task is you're going to select, I'll tell you what the attribute and the discipline is that you're rolling. So for instance, if it's control plus, let's say control plus science check, you would take a look at those two values and get a total. So for to proc, that total would be 13. You roll the 2d20, and for each die that rolls below that total, you get a success. I'll also identify the number of successes needed for a task. And if you hit that number, you succeed. If you go over that number, you generate momentum, which you can spend for other tasks.
So I have a question, Talon. It's asking me allow cross-species talents, GM's discretion. Should I check that or not?
I would say no, not for an original series game.
Okay, and then it's listing a bunch of these things, and it seems to have check marks next to it, next to all of them. There's like 30 or 40 of them, but it doesn't tell me to choose any of them, so I don't understand how to use this thing.
For those of you that have walked through this before, I'm having a difficult time seeing where he's at. If you are looking at the stream for the rest of the players, when you did it, did you select the boxes for those? I can't really tell where we're at on this.
Check the boxes on the right for the ones you want.
Check them all, or I mean, can I pick as many as I want, or what's? I don't see. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems I would be limited.
Oh! It should have said select a certain number, and I think it will stop you once you hit that number.
Humans are adaptable and resilient, and their resolve. Well, that's a trait. And talents. Yeah, it just says talents. Allow cross-species talents, yes or no, and then boxes next to each one. But it doesn't indicate how many to pick. And I mean, if I start jacking them in there, does it stop? Oh, apparently it lets me pick one.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Yep.
should only have one talent.
Oh,
there.
okay, yeah, that was not clear to me. So okay, so now I gotta go figure.
Yeah, you're gonna pick from that list like 4 times.
But for now, you're just selecting the one, and then at different stages, you'll select others.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna bog myself down in AP. I'm just gonna pick one that makes sense. Okay, so let's do that.
And again, for the rest of you, are there, if you want to start creating your characters, you can either input them into Fantasy Grounds yourselves, or if you want, create the character sheet, send it off to me, and I'll input it in.
Do you want
With-
us to create ones within our departments? Would you like us to create supporting characters within our departments?
You can decide to do it however you want. I think it might be a good idea to do it within your department, but on the other hand, if you want to play a different type of character, you can do cross departments. I'm fine with that as well. As far as the character generation to proc, it's the same process.
Thanks.
Yeah, because I'm totally making a supporting character whose red shirt. His name is Red Shirt Number 1.
Well,
He dies, it'll be Red Shirt Junior.
I'm the chief red shirt, so I'm gonna make a character that's like a scientist or something.
I might make an engineer since we seem to be missing that.
Just a little mood music.
Aw, yeah. I love it.
And for your character portraits for either your Prime Bridge members or your support crew, feel free to use whatever character portrait you want. Try to keep it, if you can, with the original series uniforms, and obviously with the department if you can. So science, medical, blue, command, yellow, etc. If you can't find any that you like, I can find them as well. I found that doing a search online using Star Trek Online RPG, and then the race and original series would give me some selections from the Star Trek Online game. And there's a lot of character models that are available online. That was pretty helpful in finding the different portraits that I've used for this.
Yeah, I did a quick Google search. I couldn't find anything. If anybody in the stream has one for me, let me know.
You know, that's something else. If anybody in the stream, I would have loved to have found a original series bridge map. Right now I'm using the map tiles that Modifius puts out, and they're great for next generation. Unfortunately, they don't have one for the original series. So if anybody has any suggestions on a good original series bridge map, I'd love to see it. Now, I did find some nice images for different cutaways, especially with the on-screen images at different points. We'll be able to use those, and that works out nicely. But the bridge deck as a whole is a little disappointing. So again, any recommendations, love to hear it. So while you guys are going through your bridge crew and your support crew, again, I walked through this with a few of you, but for those of you that haven't gone through it, and I think maybe to proc, you may not have gone through this yet. But if you're looking to make a roll with your character, the way to do that is I'll tell you what your what your attribute and discipline are that you're going to use, and you will click the blue die for each of those that you're going to use. So let's say again that it's a control security check. You'll hit the blue die for control, you'll hit the blue die for security. You'll see above the attributes and discipline towards the left, the TR, which is your target. That's going to be 14. If you click to the right, the blue die, it will roll your check. So if you want to go ahead and try that, unfortunately, what I just rolled for you was horrible. 220s is 2 complications and no successes. That would not be a good roll. The 2d20 system is a lot different in that higher is not better. So you'll just have to watch for that.
You jinxed my character.
I did.
How do I clear that?
Just select new numbers. So say you wanted to do fitness and security, go ahead and roll that and you'll see you've got a new target number. Yep. And to the left, you can tell that you were rolling a target of 12. You scored 1 success and no complications. Now, if it was a 1 success target number, you would have been fine. If it was 2, obviously you would have failed, but you would have had the option of perhaps spending momentum or threat to improve your die characteristics. So there's different mechanics here that we can talk about. If you had purchased more D20s to roll, the other thing you can do is above the attributes and discipline in the D20s to roll, you just click on that box and add however many dice you purchase. So if you spent enough threat to increase your D20 roll by 1, you would just input 3 in there and it will roll 3 die for that check. And similarly, if the complication range changed because you were in an area that, for whatever reason, increased your complication range, say there was a radiation field that made your sensors check more difficult, you could increase the complication range by, again, clicking on that box and changing that to a 2. So there's different ways to do that as well.
I'm sure I'll mess it up a few times.
Yep. Completely understand. I am going to just, again, because some players are new here, just show you some of the things that we've created in the reference manual so that you can use these as cheat sheets doing play. There is a rules summary. And again, everything I'm about to share with you is available in the reference. So you can close these out or minimize these or drag them onto your taskbar to pull them up at any time. But there is a rules summary that goes through the tasks mechanic, how to buy extra dice, common uses of momentum, what values do. Those are very important mechanics. Once you learn them, you probably won't need this rule summary again. But once you, when you initially start, that's a pretty useful cheat sheet. Similarly, the conflict reference sheet is available as well. That goes over basically the different things you can do during combat with a minor action and a combat task and how to attack. Your attack is basically either a melee attack or a ranged attack. If it's a melee attack, it is an opposed check. You roll your daring and security, and your opponent rolls a daring and security roll, and you compare successes. With a ranged attack, it's not opposed. It's basically just a control and security task check with a difficulty of 2. And if you succeed, you get to roll damage. Damage are challenge dies. The challenge dies are programmed into the sheet for your weapons. So if you go to your weapons entry at the very bottom of the main tab on your character sheet and double click the Starfleet insignia number. So phaser type 2, there's a Starfleet insignia. If you double click that, it will roll your total dies. Challenge dies are a little bit different than a normal D6. Basically, it doesn't total it up. What it does is if you roll a 1 or a 2, you get 1 success or 2 successes. 3 or a 4, you get nothing. And a 5 and a 6, you get 1 success plus an effect. And we'll talk about different things that you can spend effects on. But you can tell that you rolled the effects die there because it shows, rather than a total of, so for to proc, rather than a total of 3, 9, 13, 19, 25, instead of totaling it as 25, it totaled it as 7. If I had rolled the same, if I had manually rolled those dies and rolled them, it wouldn't have shown the total and effects. It would have just totaled them. If you manually roll challenge dies, the way to do that is to right click on the D6 in the lower left-hand corner of the sheet. When the radial dial comes up, you're going to select custom dice at the 11 o'clock position, and then you are going to select the DCD, which is the last option to the right at the 3 o'clock position. If you need to add more dice, you just right click however many challenge dice you need to roll. Actually, I take that back. This may have changed. No, that's right. Okay. All right. So that's the conflict reference tab. As I mentioned, there's momentum that you can earn. When you earn momentum, you can spend that for different beneficial effects. The most momentum you can spend at any one time is 6, and that's the most momentum you can have. So when you earn momentum, I will add those to the bottom of the screen, and you'll see the Starfleet insignia. I'm sorry, the Starfleet emblem. You'll see 6 there. Currently, you have 6 momentum that you can spend. That is a group resource, not an individual resource. If you're going to spend that, make sure your team is good with that. But you would just left click and drag it into the chat area, and it will show that it was spent on behalf of the players. You earn more momentum by getting successes over your target. That is the player resource. Similarly, there is a threat token, and that's earned different ways, but one of the primary ways it can be earned is if you don't have momentum but want to increase your chances of success. Instead of spending momentum, you can spend threat and give me threat at the same level that you would spend your momentum. I can in turn use that for different things like creating complications or adding new challenges to you. So that's something to keep an eye out on. Damage effects. There are different things. If you get critical successes, you can use damage effects. That is available in the reference sheet as well. The other important thing, the most important thing in the reference guide is your different cheat sheets by position. So there's a commanding officer reference sheet. There is a communications and internal systems reference sheet.
Do we have a communications officer, or are we all just kind of doing that?
I do not believe you currently have one, but again, you can create a secondary character for that if you care to. But other people can perform the check. It doesn't have to be a communications officer. I'm just going through and sharing the sheets, security, and tactical. Sensors and systems. There are a number of maps if we talk about different sectors and you're curious. There are maps of the alpha and beta quadrants available.
Nice.
Sweet.
Again, this is original series, so it's primarily limited to alpha and beta quadrant. And then finally, there is a reference that is available. This is a little on the smaller side because in terms of font size, because it's such a large resource, but you can expand it as you need to and move around. The pan tool on the lower right will let you move around it. If you use your mouse wheel to increase the font size, you can pan up and down. And then if you want to bring it back to the original size, you right click, bring up the radial dial, move to the 3 o'clock position, resize, and go to the original size. All right, I'm assuming some of you are still making characters. While you're doing that, one big thing we need to take care of before we kick off the initial mission for the crew is what ship are you going to use? And that's going to involve some discussion with you guys. I have no issues with you taking whatever ship you care to. Once you decide on the ship, you don't need to create the ship unless you want to do it. There are some stock ships stats that we can use, but you do have to decide on a name for your ship. So that being said, what were you guys thinking in terms of the specific ship class that you were looking for?
I automatically vote for Constellation class.
Now,
there
are
any
you
other
sure you
options
don't mean
available?
Constitution?
Did I say I meant the one that we all love. That one.
Classic.
Classic, yeah, Constitution class. And are we taking one of the 13 existing ones, or are we making up a name?
You can make up a name for the ship. The ship section of the rule book begins on page 236 for the ships of the line. You can see the different classes and frames that are available. The Constitution class is on page 240, but it gives you the rules for creating your own. If you want, we can take the stocks that are available.
I'm happy to use the stock unless everyone wants to go through the ship creation.
No, I'm happy to use the stock. Let me see if I can find. I don't know where I put my Star Trek PDF, damn it. Oh, here it is.
Are the pre-made ones in the book, or are you talking about the assignments that the ships have, or the rules?
I believe there are stats for the Constitution class ship in the rule book, and if there's not, there are some pre-gens available online as well.
Because I mean, the more important than stats is like the role you take, right? Or the what do they call it? It's like the mission. Like, are you a pathfinder or a combat ship or a diplomatic ship?
Or an exploration, or
Right.
Yep, that's fair. And honestly, I haven't gone through the ship creation, but again, the online tool I believe lets
Yeah,
you
it
do
had
ship
stuff about
creation.
ships in there, but I prefer we just take take one. What page was that again that they were on?
It starts on 236, and the Constitution class they describe on 240, I believe.
Yeah, Constitution class. I mean, I'm good with, unless you guys want to get crazy and make a ship or whatever. I'm good with taking what they have here for the Constitution class, just the pre-generated stats. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's fine with me. But
Yeah.
the way that works in the book, though, is they have the stats for the Constitution class, but it's not complete. Then you have to pick
the mission
a
profile.
role. Mission profile, yeah, and then you add the stats together.
Oh, right. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
So the mission profiles you can select from are strategic and diplomatic operations. It begins on page 251. Strategic and diplomatic operations, pathfinder and reconnaissance operations, technical test bed, tactical operations, scientific and survey operations, crisis and emergency response, or multi-role explorer.
Multi-role explorer sounds like what the show was.
yeah,
Yeah, that sounds like the most appropriate one.
That's a 2 on everything, it looks like. So it's a balanced, yeah, it's a balanced thing. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Works for me, yeah.
Sounds good.
And then pick one of the talents. There are 5 to choose from: improved hull integrity, improved power systems, rugged design, redundant systems, and secondary reactors.
Man, they all sound good.
Can we take? We get 4 of the 5, right?
Select one.
Yeah, redundant systems jumped out at me just because, like,
yeah.
let's keep it safe. Unless somebody else had something jump out at them that was really strong. They all sound good.
What does redundant systems do?
I'm assuming what that means is that they there's many backups. So if something fails, there's something else there to back it up.
So the ship talents begin on page 255, and redundant systems is on 257. The ship has multiple additional redundancies that allow it to withstand severe damage more easily. Nominate a single system. When that system becomes damaged or disabled, the crew may choose to activate the backups as a minor action. If the system was damaged, it is no longer damaged. If it was disabled, it becomes damaged instead. A system's backups may only be activated once per adventure, so subsequent damage will have the normal effect.
Seems very specific.
Yeah. Maybe improved power systems that will give us more.
The ship's power systems are extremely efficient, allowing power to be redirected and rerouted from different systems very quickly. Whenever a character succeeds at a power management task, the ship gains 2 power per momentum spent, repeatable instead of 1. So yeah, that's good.
So what repeatable means is you can spend more momentum more than once to improve it at the individual task level.
Yeah, all right, let's try that one.
And I'm sorry, that was improved power supply?
Yeah.
I've already forgot. I can't be bothered
Power
to remember more than 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm the same way. All right. Improve power supply, and what did we say was the mission profile?
The balance.
Multi-role
Yeah,
explorer.
exactly.
Okay, just making myself notes for when I put it in. All right, now the most important thing we're going to decide today, what is the name of the ship?
Do you want to make one up, or do you want to go historical?
You can absolutely make one up. This is our role-playing game, so you don't have to stay historical, but if you want to, that is absolutely fine.
What, the Pandora?
So I have the list here of the original ones. If we want to take a look, I'll post it in the Fantasy Grounds chat. Click the captain's, click the badge icon. But I am totally not opposed to making one up if we want to do that.
Yeah, I'm good either way. We can throw some names out there. We got the Pandora, maybe.
Chat says USS Big Boy.
Round bottom.
Oh, Unity. Unity is a good name.
That is a good name.
Round bottom. Oh my god.
Well, let's see, Rob. Name the 13 Constitution. Well, name the 12 Constitution classes we could probably wind up on.
Constellation, Constitution, Defiant, Enterprise, Excalibur, Exeter, Farragut, Hood, Intrepid, Congo, Lexington, Pegasus, Potemkin, Republic, Valiant, and Yorktown.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that like all of those are okay. I mean,
yeah,
I like Congo. I'm looking at real Navy ship names right now, and I like Bellatrix or Bighorn.
Well, the
I like
Yorktown,
Unity, actually,
wasn't that the lost one?
Which one?
I think Unity sounds good as well.
One of the, I know one of the Constitutions got lost because that was the one from Mirror Mirror. Was that the Yorktown?
Oh, let's see. It should say here. The Defiant was lost in the Tholian web. Okay. Oh, Mirror Mirror. Yeah. Oh, the Mirror Unit. Yeah, the ISS Enterprise. Okay. The Excalibur was the one that was damaged by the M5 computer in the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Exeter was Captain Tracy. Farragut was Kirk's first ship. The Intrepid was the one that was staffed by all Vulcans that blew up.
That's weird.
What happens when you have that much logic contained in one ship?
Then it hurts a dude who's not there. I don't think it says here which one of those was the one. But a few of us like Unity, and the chat suggested that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unity's good.
Is anybody
Yeah,
opposed
sounds
to
good.
Unity? Is that what we should go with? Okay, let's do it. The Nimitz, yeah, that's a real aircraft carrier.
That's a real aircraft carrier that I was on.
Oh, nice. So USS Unity if no one objects.
Unity is good.
All right, let's do it.
Yep, it's a nice Fantasy Grounds joke too.
Yeah, it's funny. I think that's why they said it, but it also is a great word for, hey, we're out there bringing unity to the galaxy and whatnot. Oh my God, that's the picture of the one from the.
And Rob being the captain, that means you're obligated to sleep with all the green women.
I sleep with all the women. I don't care what color they are. They don't have to be green. Okay, back to my character then. If we decided.
Oh yeah, that's the refit one, huh?
Yeah, that's the
from.
refit. That's A. Yeah.
Yeah, the movie.
Talon, is that the one that I linked in the forums a couple weeks ago?
It might be, but that's not where I pulled it from.
Okay.
I just did a quick search.
By the way, the reference manual in the core book doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I'm still building that one. I haven't done the reference part of it.
Where can I find the talents and traits?
If you go to, so I don't have all of the ship talents populated, but the personal talents I do.
Oh,
if you go to the right and select the talents, Elcar, all the way to the right. Towards the bottom.
There are there. Okay, so talents, and I got the talents. I'm looking for. I didn't mean talents. I meant traits and the hell else. I'm trying to make my character sheet from the PDF to the Fantasy Grounds.
Yep.
So I'm just like
I do have the starship talents in there, so you can see what the individual starship talents were. If you go into the talent section, they are sorted by group, so you can go through and look at the different types of talents. But you weren't looking for that. You were looking for, I'm sorry.
Values and traits.
Values are going to be just pure text based. That is not drag and drop.
Okay.
And what was the other thing you were looking for?
Focuses and
yeah, so values and focuses are largely those are going to be text based on the sheet, and those are largely ones that you come up with. The book does give some suggestions, but it's not clearly defined the way talents are.
And they also don't have a list of them to choose from. They just you're supposed to just make it up.
There's a pretty good list of focuses on page 100 of the book.
What about values?
They're more related to your character and their background. So in that character creator, it suggests different periods in your life path where you would gain them.
Okay, all right. I'll just I guess I'm so used to with D&D. Here's a list, pick, and now they want me to be creative and make shit
that
up.
At all. It's this is much more narrative.
How dare they try to use my imagination? Okay.
Yeah. But there is on page 95. There's a little write up on values, and they do give a couple of examples.
Okay.
I think there's also an option to create them as you're playing the game.
Yes, and there's an opportunity to change them as well.
Okay, so I'll just put in what I have. I wrote a couple down, but I'll just put in what I did and leave the rest, and I won't worry about it too much.
I like the portraits for Bren especially. That's a good one for the Tellarite.
There aren't very many options for Tellarite.
I can't seem to drag in my background either. That doesn't.
For the background, that. Hold on, let me get there. Yeah, the background you're going to have to manually create as well.
Okay.
So in this case, would we go with like young? I'm assuming then we'd go with young author, young officer.
I think
Or-
most of you took that,
Mhm.
but I think there was another potential option there besides.
Because there's also experienced officer and veteran officer.
I just took
Yeah,
young
no.
because I
We're
figured we all
just-
graduated from the academy and we're all yeah.
Right. I'd be willing to listen to alternatives if you had a good backstory for it, but I think I agree. You're all largely from the same graduating class, although you could have old hands that were interspersed at the direction of Starfleet if that's how you wanted to play it. All right. How is everybody on the creation of their characters? Again, feel free, for those of you that already created them, feel free to keep those. Boffrin, what's your primary going to be?
I'm going for the science officer.
Did you name it yet?
Yeah, if you look at the name.
I've got a lot of characters that are appearing up top.
Oh, sorry. Rarar.
Got it.
Say that again. Rar.
I was impressed,
Yep.
actually. That was pretty nice. Let me see. I think I've got a portrait. If you don't. Damn, not the right uniform color, but I do have a different cation. We can find a different one later, but for now that'll work.
A scenario of I could take a moment in GIMP and make it blue.
Sure. For the characters that you are not playing currently, go ahead and close out those characters so that they're not appearing up top.
I got enough trouble with just my guy. Holy shit.
How do we close those
Yeah,
out?
it's a lot to navigate there, Rob.
Yeah,
So.
I'm mainly getting it together though here. Is the equipment in a book that's not the source book?
There's an inventory. There's not much by way of equipment. It's mostly standard issue, but there are things like descriptions of phasers and tricorders
But I mean,
and the
are there
like in the inventory.
inventory. I did equipment and
Items. I'm sorry,
items. Items. Here we go. There we go. Okay, now we're talking. Items and equipment are different. Oh no, it's not equipment. It's environment. First of all, you have to be able to read. Okay, let's just start with that. Phaser, I hope. Is that what we all want? We have to have a phaser.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Most have taken type 1s or type 2s, and you can drag that into your inventory, but then you have to manually enter into the weapons section. Who knows how to release the characters that you're not currently using? And you're going to get that initial error in the console, but once you put it in there and close it out, you shouldn't have any problems.
Okay. You right-click your portrait and choose release.
Thanks, I've done that for my one.
Yeah, and for the other two unnamed, if you can drop those if you're not going to be using those to start.
And that will release it from the top, but it will also release your ownership of the character. But if you take it back ownership, it'll put it back up top. So just be aware that anybody can pretty much take that character. Oh yeah, unidentified item. That's funny. That is funny.
Yeah, that's just a quirk with the beta. He's aware of that issue. Static asked if Static is the rule set developer. If anybody has any recommendations on things they'd like to see, or if they see any issues that come up, feel free to let me know what you want me to add to the list, and I'll send it off to him. Alternatively, I believe he sent me his email, but I've got to find that email address and send that off to you so that you could email him directly if you cared to.
Okay. So on my PDF, when I made the character, it just gave me weapons. It says, oh, qualities charge hidden 1. That's for the phaser. That's for the phaser. Okay, I got it.
Right.
I thought this was like a separate list. I was freaking out. Okay, so
So while you're doing that, a few other things. So there are going to be different directives that you have. Obviously, everybody knows the Prime Directive. There are a few other directives that you have when you set out on your mission, and those are the ideals that you're supposed to live up to in this mission. So in addition to the Prime Directive, you are to seek out new life and new civilizations, and you are to explore spatial anomalies and unexplained phenomena. You are primarily a research vessel at this point. You are not out on any diplomatic missions, although should you encounter any new life or new civilizations, you may be changing your mission profile and directive at that point.
I'm sorry, what were the directives again? With Prime Directive, encounter new life and civilizations.
And then the last one is explore spatial anomalies and unexplained phenomena.
Thanks.
Okay, so while you're wrapping up, we can do one or two things. We could, and Rob, I don't know if you have hard set break times, or
usually
if now would be a good time.
Usually halfway through, which in a 3-hour session would be after 90 minutes. But today we're probably not going to go that long, right? So we could do it now.
Yeah,
if you want.
What I was going to suggest is we could take a break now, and then when we come back, we can at least kick off the mission with the introduction and what you're going to experience in the beginning.
Okay, and I believe I just now completed my character talent. If you want to take a look at mine, make sure I did it right. And yeah, we can take a 10-minute break. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, you've got everything you need in there, and then we can. Yep, the character
Alright.
sheet looks good.
Thanks.
So, what did you want to do? Take a 10-minute break and then come back, and then we'll kick off the mission.
Sure. Sounds good to
Okay,
me.
that work for everybody else?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, we'll take a 10-minute break, and then we will start your 5-year mission.
All right. So
So
stream
back at
will be-
10:15.
Yep, we'll be back in 10 minutes, everybody.
What would we say our ranks are going to be? Did he say we're just going to go with low ranks? Not that it matters. Or
Yeah, I think he said lieutenant commander and commander. I can't remember what he said.
Yeah,
Okay.
the options are ensign, lieutenant commander, commander, and captain.
But even though I'm calling myself captain of the ship, my rank wouldn't be captain, would it? I'm not going to be just out of the academy and be a captain. Maybe.
You know,
Your rank's not
you can
capped.
do it either way.
Would still be since you're in charge of the ship, you're still addressed as captain.
Right,
if
but
that
my
makes
rank
sense.
is going to maybe be commander
or like lieutenant or you
even
know.
yeah. What would you prefer, Talon?
I would be. You're probably right. Just being out of the command, the academy, probably lieutenant commander makes the most sense as the maximum rank.
Okay, sounds good.
So then we should be under that then. Like
No,
lieutenant or something?
you can be of equal rank. It's just that he would have been selected for command of the ship in this initial mission.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm just quickly entering in your ship details as that could come into play.
Blow shit up right away. That's why.
We were just doing one secondary character, correct? Or...
You can do as many as you care to, but I think it'd be a good idea to have at least one.
Considering I have next to no idea about the meta of the game, I think I'll just stick with the one extra.
and that's completely fine, and you can feel free to roll up more at a later date.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I think I'll do too. Is roll up a different one, not during the game. Get a backup dude.
Talon, can you tell us what we're going to be running? I mean, is it a published thing, or is it something you're just making up? Or?
So it's going to be a combination. I'm going through the These Are the Voyages campaign book for different missions. I may tweak them a little bit. I may run them exactly as is. I haven't really decided. But I'm starting with the These Are the Voyages book, largely because it had the most original series missions in it.
Awesome.
Oh, lovely. I just made somebody's character a ship, so feel free to ignore all of that.
So looking at the talents, if everyone's untapped potential, whenever we buy momentum or threat, we get to roll a challenge die to get more momentum.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
So if all of us are untapped potential or have the untapped potential talent, it looks like we get to roll a challenge die each time we buy momentum or threat, and we can get additional momentum or threat.
Correct.
Is it one
All right.
die per momentum? Or
I think it's the case, and correct me if I'm wrong, for each effect you roll on that die. So you'd have to roll a 5 or 6. You would get 1 momentum.
sure.
It looks like you get a point of threat if an effect is rolled, or says the character receives bonus momentum equal to the roll of the challenge die and adds 1 point to threat if an effect is rolled,
Okay.
which is good for getting a lot of momentum.
Right. Okay, I haven't fully equipped your weapon numbers yet, but there's your ship for purposes of assists on any rolls. Are we live yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready for you to look me over real quick.
I'm sorry?
Said I am ready for you to look me over.
Okay. Just have to input your weapons, presumably a phaser and your melee. Apart from that, it looks good. Okay, so you are all on board the USS Unity. As we've previously indicated in the captain's log, this is your inaugural mission on your 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, new lives, and new civilizations. It is stardate 1416.4, and you are currently aboard your Constitution class starship.
Awesome. Yeah.
Now, as you are making your way through, actually, perhaps on the end of the first day, you quite surprisingly come across a beacon. Anybody care to do a check to see if they can determine anything about the distress call?
Yes, the science stations should check on that.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I can assist.
Sure. I mean, wouldn't
Okay.
hurt.
All right. So that is going to be a reason and science check. You can have a player assist with the ship. So on the ship, it will be sensors and science.
All right, I'll roll for the ship. Sensors and science.
All right, and I will go ahead and roll for myself here.
And I apologize, not control and science, reason and science.
Oh, you'd said reason and science initially for the.
Oh, good. Okay, then I was right the first time. Reason and science.
Now, how do you? I thought you were supposed to. You could click these and they would populate on the top, and then you could just roll it. It's not seeming to work for me unless I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Is that Rob talking?
Yeah, Rob asking about the ship roll.
Yep. So for the ship roll, it should work if you click the blue engines button. I'm sorry, the blue sensors button next to sensors, and the blue science under the departments. Is that not letting you do that?
Well, I can click them, but it doesn't appear to change anything when I do it.
It does when I do it. Yeah, it did. It changed your target number up in the left. Now click in the first group of boxes with the single blue die next to shields. To the left of shields, click that button and it should roll it for you. Yeah, that did it.
Okay, but so my target, my TR is 7, it says?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
It should have been 8 plus 3, right? It should be 11.
Yeah, are you clicking the box or the blue?
I'm clicking the blue.
Try it again. Click the blue sensor and the blue science.
So when I click any of the blue things in either departments or systems, it has no effect. Now it says 11 there, but I'm imagining that's because you did it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for me too. It doesn't change when I click them.
Dear rule set developer, we would like this to work. No, I know.
And it's possible I'm doing something wrong. I did just try and drag and drop the entry onto your token. Does that make any difference? Does that let you change it? Let me bring it down lower and see.
Okay, let me try it again. Sensors and science. No, it doesn't let me do it.
All right. How about if you click on the target number? No, you can't do that either. Okay. I'm not sure why that is, but we'll just manually calculate it. So sensors is 8, science is 3. Your target was 11. You rolled a 9. That is a success.
Okay.
And the science officer got 0 successes.
All right. So the science officer is a little flustered, this being his first mission, and a little surprised that this soon out he was actually called upon to do something productive. But the ship is more than capable to make up for some newbie error and is able to provide a decent amount of information about the beacon that you've encountered. So you learn that there is a debris field of, there's a crash on the planet's surface that you've just passed. The beacon that you've encountered is somewhat antiquated, actually, from old Starfleet vintage. So you're not sure why that is and why you're getting a distress beacon now. It seems strange that the beacon would have lasted this many years. It's that old of a vessel. But regardless, you've traced the source of the beacon to the surface of a Class M planet. There is a shuttle pod in the debris field that is actually intact and currently operating in a low power mode. That's what's transmitting the beacon. And a quick scan of the planet indicates that there is no indigenous intelligent life forms but you do detect one human life sign near the crash site.
Human.
Human, huh?
Yep. Now, you don't currently have momentum, but you could spend threat if you cared to learn more information from the scan that you don't already have.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Because we don't want to just blindly beam something aboard. I know that's bad.
Yeah, totally. Spend it.
Yeah, spend it.
All right. So you grant me one momentum, which I've added. Or I'm sorry, one threat, which I've added. The planet's surface suffered from what you learn in your scan. Hold on. So what you learn in your scan is that the planet's surface suffered some recent tectonic plate shifts that caused worldwide earthquakes and tsunamis. This actually suggests the only thing that would have been powerful enough to have created that type of tectonic shift is perhaps the opening of a wormhole near the system. Ongoing volcanic activity has affected the landscape and the climate of this surface, which has actually cooled much of the world.
Well, recommendations. See, that's going to be my fallback. No recommendations. Okay.
Yeah, well, we need to go down and look, I think. We can, I mean, we gotta go down there and check out the beacon, right?
But isn't this... Well, maybe I misunderstood. I thought that there was a pod that had a life form in it.
There is.
Yeah. So we need to deal with that first, no?
Might be a good idea maybe for our security officer to speak up.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to go down there and check it out. And I want to bring guns.
Well, but when you say go down there, do you mean to the pod or down to the planet?
Down to the planet. The pod is on the planet, right?
No, it's in a debris field is what I thought I heard.
Yeah.
On the planet.
On the planet, yes. There's a debris field. It's near the shuttle, but the shuttle is still relatively intact.
Oh, and it's not in space. It's on the planet. Okay, I did misunderstand.
I'm sorry, yes. I should have been more clear. There is a crash of some sort on the surface that created a debris field. In addition, there is a shuttle pod.
Okay, yeah, then right. We do want to go down there. With guns and everything.
So here's currently the options before you. The scan revealed the crash debris field, the surviving shuttle pod with an older beacon. There is evidence that there is some sort of worm field nearby, which created some major tectonic shifts on the planet. You basically have four options then. You could beam down to the planet. You could shuttle down to the planet. You could attempt to open hailing frequencies. You could do a scan for other anomalies or ships in the area.
Can I use my navigation to determine the shuttle's trajectory and how it was affected by the wormhole? Or try to figure out what happened to it?
You can attempt that, yes. That would be so you're trying to extrapolate. That would be a reason, a reason, and either science or con check.
I'll use con, and can I use maybe astrophysics or helm operations as a focus?
Yes. Okay. You have 2 successes. Unfortunately, the crash seems to have the crash was not necessarily caused by the wormhole, so you're not exactly sure how the debris field or the shuttle landed where they were.
Yeah, Captain, I can't extrapolate the trajectory of the shuttlecraft to be the cause, the wormhole to be the cause of the crash. So I don't know what we could.
Okay. I guess we'll try hailing it first because that makes sense, and then if we don't get anything, we'll go down there.
So, just to be clear, how close is the wormhole to the planet? Like, is it in the same system? Is it like between the star and the planet? Or
You haven't located the wormhole at this point. You haven't done a sensor sweep to find it yet.
oh,
Okay. Well, I guess I'll run a sensor sweep then.
Okay.
Have
Yeah.
any
Go ahead and make a reason and science check, and it can be assisted by the ship's sensors and science.
What's the difficulty of that talent?
That will be a difficulty of 3.
Okay, you might want to buy some. Oh no, use some threat for that buffering to get additional dice.
Yeah. Or I could maybe use my quantum mechanics focus to help out a bit.
I will allow that, given the wormhole's nature. The quantum theory background would assist.
So the focuses work in giving you a critical success if it's equal or below your discipline. So I assume your science discipline is 4, so you need to.
Yep.
So having another die helps.
Oh
in
no,
getting-
I'm still gonna take the other die on top of this, so we're gonna take another threat.
Okay.
who
are we
wants to roll?
adding and subtracting our own threat and momentum, or are you doing that for us?
No, he's doing it.
I add the threat and I'll add the momentum, but when you spend momentum, you will do it.
Got it.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And that will be assisted by the ship.
And the ship's role is what again?
Cheer bits.
Sensors and
Cheer bits
science.
in the stream. Thanks for the cheer bits.
Oh, that's going to be 11.
So I've got 1 critical success because of the focus, or at least 2, don't I?
You have
2,
to,
yeah.
Cheer bits. Hey,
You have to click on the
Frost,
focus
thank you so much.
button
Yeah,
when you-
yeah, good point. Yes, you do have 2 critical successes. And to get that to have factored in, when you click the solo blue button next to it, there's a focus checkbox. You would have clicked that. So you've got four successes right now because of the focus. So that background really helped you. You were able to pull quite a bit of information out. So right now you have earned 1 momentum.
And
as your talent, you can try to get the additional momentum because you've got untapped.
So you would roll the challenge die, which is the D6. Okay, unfortunately, that does not count as a number. 3s and 4s are neutral. But you still have your ship.
Can you please change the TR to 11?
I'm sorry. So we're doing sensors and science.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Oh, shit.
Ooh.
All right, that is a complication. So you do have the success, but there is a complication. So the complication is going to be, and it's related to why your difficulty was 3 instead of the traditional 2. The wormhole is creating a lot of interference. You're able to locate it, but it's created quite a bit of feedback on the console. So the difficulty in your sensors check for a while is going to be increased by another 1. Because of all the feedback, but you have located the position of the wormhole.
I'm sorry. Can we tell if the wormhole would interfere with transporters down to the surface of the planet?
Yes. So the answer to that is it will, but you might attempt to launch a probe to obtain better data on the wormhole and thereby adjust and recalibrate your control panel to account for it. So if you wanted to launch a probe, you might be able to get some additional information. But again, you'll have to be successfully able to guide the probe into the wormhole, which is going to be difficult given all of the feedback.
Do we have, how many probes do we have? I'm assuming there's a finite amount.
There is, I don't know the answer to that, but it is not an issue at the moment.
All right, then let's launch probe.
Okay.
All right.
That is going to be control plus con from the person launching it, and I'm going to say sensors and con on the ship.
Should I try launching the probe?
Yeah, you're helm, right? So why don't you do it?
Yeah. Okay. Will astrophysics as a focus help with this?
I will say that it will.
And what was the difficulty?
It will be a difficulty 3.
Should I buy any momentum for this, or use
What's
the
your
momentum that
what's
was
your
generated?
roll? What's your number?
It's 14.
Yeah. I say go for it.
Yeah.
Use
Use a
the
momentum.
Success. You are able to get quite a bit of information from the wormhole. You see that it's unstable at its terminus, and it's got fluctuating gravity readings, but you're able to make some adjustments on your console and account for some of the feedback you were receiving. So the difficulty will be lowered going forward. You could spend some momentum and gain additional information if you care to.
Did we roll for the ship as well?
No.
Go ahead. That could get you some additional momentum.
What's the? Can you change the number for? Until we figure out how we can control that, you're gonna have to do that each time.
That's fair. You may need to remind me each time because I am old and forgetful. But let me add that. Okay, go ahead.
So it's still 11. Okay, here we go. Yeah, maybe somebody else wants to do this.
That's all right. You still succeeded, and you still have 1 momentum you could spend if you wanted to gain some additional information.
Yeah,
I
let's do
think I
that.
used that momentum up.
Oh, yeah, he
Yeah.
did use it.
Yeah,
But you
you're
got one
supposed
back from the
to
roll, didn't you?
get up and drag it.
No, I needed 3 successes and I got.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I got 4.
Did you drag the momentum into the chat window when you used it?
He did not.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead and do that just so that you get used to the process. You could still spend a threat if you cared to.
Is it important we get more information?
I don't know.
Do we have enough? Do we have enough to calibrate the transporters with what information we have?
Look, as a general rule, I would recommend always gaining more information, but it's totally your call if you're concerned about the amount of threat you're spending.
Now let's do it. Heck
Yeah.
with it.
Care to do it?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. And then going forward, you guys can decide amongst yourselves how you want to do it, but then I'll just wait for it just makes it easier procedurally. I'll wait for the captain to say yes or no on whether or not you're going to
Okay.
spend it if it's a group decision. But that is a good spend. You notice that there is an object at the center of the wormhole that you're not entirely sure, but could be a vessel.
Ah.
That is definitely a vessel.
All right.
That's an NX class.
Let's use my special skill and identify that starship.
Oh, nice.
Go ahead and make your check.
And what would that be?
We're going to say again, it is for the individual, it's going to be reason and science. For the ship, it's going to be sensors and science again. So no change to the TR.
I have a a starship recognition focus, but my reason and science are shit. So someone else should probably do that. I have a 9 total.
All right. I guess I'll give it a shot. And let's see. I will consult the computer data bank for my computer focus.
Okay, I'll give it.
And let's give it a shot. So what's our are we 2 or 3 difficulty or
It is now 2 difficulty because of the information you gained from the probe.
all right.
And how does that factor into the roll?
It's the number of successes you need, and whatever you get over that, it gives you additional momentum.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing you do to affect the roll. It's just you're knowing in advance how many successes do I need. Got it.
If you need more successes, you will buy more dice.
Yeah, because you can't get 3 unless you roll 3, right? I gotcha.
So that is a success, and you still have the ship to roll to see if you gain momentum.
All right.
Yep.
Can we just roll a d20 on that and do it manually?
Yeah, but what are the things?
It's going to be an 11 target. It's sensors
11?
and
Okay.
science again.
I'll roll the d20 then. Here we go. Yeah, what's
Okay.
that? What's up?
Bam.
That is a success, so you gain a momentum.
Fuck automation.
What was that?
I said fuck automation. Gotta do it all
All
with
right.
pencil and paper.
The readings are fluctuating, and the object appears to be there and then not there in rapid succession. The object is at the epicenter of the strange gravity readings that you're receiving as well, which suggests that it may even be the source of the gravity readings. You do not, however, have any information on what type of ship it is.
Can we
And
tell
so
if
I
there's any
can-
life signs?
You do not. You're not able to read any life signs. The fluctuating nature of the vessel, if that's what it is not something that you're able to lock onto.
Do we have enough information to calibrate the transporters?
You do.
The information we seek may lie below, Captain.
Agreed. Let's the ship at the center of the wormhole isn't moving, is it?
It is essentially phasing in and out, but it is not moving deeper into the wormhole or
Or away from it? Okay.
anywhere in space.
Yes, we should beam down and check out everything there so we can get more information. Assemble the team.
Is there a communicator we can lock on to? And beam them up onto the ship?
Oh, with the gravitational with the time-space reality distortions from the wormhole. I mean, transportation at this stage is already kind of a bit of a risk, you know. That's just a science officer pointing out, you know, the realities of transporter technology at this time.
And as your medical officer, I'd advise we encounter whatever contagions might be in that pod on the planet rather than on the.
So, shuttlecraft, you're thinking?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, we can
And
do that.
probably
If we don't think
environmentally
transporters are safe enough, we can go shuttlecraft. Good.
Okay. Somebody's going to have to pilot the shuttlecraft. That is going to be either a control or a daring attribute and a con discipline from the pilot. And your shuttlecraft, I think I've got a shuttlecraft here. I do not. That's going to be I'll tell you in a moment. Engines and con check. So the pilot will be assisted by the shuttle. That's going to be a total of a 6. So it's going to be a tough transport on the shuttle.
6. How about if we use transporters? Will it be more or less?
You can beam down. That would be I would say a science and reason check.
What's the difficulty of that?
It's not going to be terribly difficult. It would just be a 1.
Oh, well, that's, I mean, yeah, that's the way we go then.
All right, transporters, are we all going?
Yeah, decide on your party too. So you created some alternate characters. You can bring down your bridge officers, or you can bring down your alternate characters.
So I
As
guess
the-
this is where we find out if our captain is like the kind who has to go on every away mission, or if
Yes, he is.
they actually want to try and survive.
No, he's gonna Kirk it up, baby.
Man, Kirk went down every single time.
Yeah, they didn't have that
That's what
next
she
generation
said.
bullshit. They didn't have that next generation protect the captain crap back then.
All right, well, let's go. As the chief red shirt, I'll be going.
All right, so
I
it's
might
gonna
bring
be
down my squad
Avalon,
character.
and who else is going down?
Well, you probably need somebody medical. I can go myself or send my alter ego down. He's okay with my
I might send my engineering support officer down
Okay.
the con.
I think for the
step.
purposes of game mechanics, each player should decide what they want to do, and then once they decide that they want to do it, we'll just say that the captain said, okay, here's the landing party.
That's
Sounds
fair.
good.
That way I'm not telling you guys, you guys get to pick what you want to do.
All right, so Thane, which character are you beaming down?
I'll take Toprak.
And Rara will go ahead and go down.
Okay, and the captain is going.
Yeah, Avalon's going to go.
Is Shraz going?
Straz is going.
And is who's left? Takrar or Rara? Who's not? I've
Rara
got.
said he was going down.
Okay. And are you going to beam down to the shuttlecraft or the debris field?
Next to the shuttlecraft.
The beacon is in the shuttlecraft, right? That's crashed on the surface.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
And the life form reading, was that in a pod or something that was in the debris field?
It was near the shuttlecraft. Okay, so you're all going to be beaming down.
Maybe. Oh, we did it.
Go ahead and make the check, see if there were any complications.
Do we each make one?
No, just one person.
Did the science officer do it? It was reason and science, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was because I remember thinking that's the lowest thing
All
I
right.
have.
Let's go ahead and do that. I think we're okay.
Nice.
You are, and you gained one momentum. But the ship can assist with that. Perhaps you've gained more.
Okay, here's the ship roll. Probably not.
That's right. One is good.
Talon, I was going to bring down the engineer, Bren, rather than Truraka.
Okay. Let me get rid of Bryn and bring in. Can you active? Oh, you're going to bring Bryn. Okay, got it. Okay. As you beam down, you can see the following. You see a vessel crashed to the south in what appears to be once forested valley. It's now a jagged landscape where slabs of rock jut upwards and limbless trees stand at unnatural angles, hanging uneven as the land shifted beneath them. There are fallen trees littering the uneven ground and twisted blue-barked seedlings sprouting from several carcasses. Several volcanoes smoke in the distance, filling the sky with ash. The sun is a cold yellow disk in the ash clouds. Small, furry-tailed animals, each with one red eye, scurry about, while brightly colored beetle-like creatures the size of a human hand dart from rock crevices, their five-pronged pincers snapping. Not much remains of the ship beyond huge chunks of charred hull, covered in a blanket of strange blue-tinted moss, which appears to be one of the few plant species thriving here. The pre-Federation shuttle pod rests near you, its roof and sides thick with the bluish moss, except around the door, which has been cleared in patches as if removed by hand.
Did you say pre-Federation pod?
Yep. Which is
All
consistent with the fact that you identified the beacon as being very old, and it's so old, in fact, that you were surprised that it was still functioning.
I whip out my greatest weapon, the tricorder, and take a scan on the on it.
Nice.
All right. Reason and science check or reason and engineering?
Oddly enough, both the same for me. All right. Is this a single difficulty, 2 difficulty, or 3 type of difficulty here?
2.
2? All right. And then in that case, if you guys don't mind, then mind if I spend this momentum?
Yeah, go for it.
Or,
Can we assist?
That would be better.
I will allow one person to assist.
How do you assist with a tricorder scan?
Someone else.
Pull out
scans
your
with
own
a tricorder.
tricorder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll allow you to try and triangulate.
Who else? Who wants to do that?
Oh.
What were the
snap.
stats again for that?
Either reason and science or reason and engineering.
Got a 14.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Double roll.
Okay. The first one would have been a success. All right. So you've got 3 successes. So that'll give you 1 momentum. Get in the habit of pulling out the momentum in the chat window when you spend it, but you gained 1 back, so it doesn't matter. You do have a complication, though. So I am going to say that Ra, you're going to make me say that name every time.
Ra.
Ra, your tricorder starts to smoke a little bit and
Damn it.
seems to have been overheated, so you're not going to be able to make any scan checks for this scene. One of the mechanics in Star Trek Adventures is in the scenes, when we move to different scenes, when the Starship Enterprise goes across the planet and you go back on the station or whatever, you're going to lose a momentum as each scene shifts. But right now we're still in the same scene. Okay, so that was a success. You're able. What were you scanning? The shuttle pod or the debris field?
I was scanning the shuttle pod.
Okay. All right. The registry of the shuttle pod reveals that it belonged to the Starship Atlantis, which was an NX class vessel believed lost with all hands during the Earth-Romulan War. In your review of the shuttle pod systems, its energy reserves are almost depleted. The shuttle pod's logs show that the craft landed 110 years ago, but the chronometer reads that only 6 years have elapsed.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
No. Wormhole. Think.
Wasn't there a life sign?
Remember your
that
applied
we-
quantum mechanics class?
Regarding the survivor, you see that the life sign is not far from the shuttle pod.
I don't know how this could have happened, but perhaps that survivor could give us some more information.
Oh, we should talk to him then for sure. Or her.
The wormhole, remember, it's a bridge in space-time connecting 2 points. It's just there aren't very many stable wormholes. Didn't you people pay attention in science at all?
I was in the bathroom.
I think the humans had an old name for it called an Einstein-Rosenkrantz bridge.
Sounds right. All right, so Traz is going to be mostly interested in finding the survivor.
All right, so the tricorder reading indicated that the life sign is behind a large boulder over there, and actually, as you're pointing in that direction, you see a man step from behind the boulder. Your scan prevents you from being surprised by this, but he is leveling a weapon at you, some sort of makeshift weapon. The man that you see before you, his hair and beard are long and tangled in mangy knots, and he has the tattered remains of a uniform providing some sort of modest coverage, but clearly his clothing is in tatters, and he levels a bow to aim at the group, and we're actually in combat now. So you're not surprised. The way combat works is we alternate. You can use momentum to seize the initiative if you cared to, and go twice. But the creature before you is clearly looking to attack at this point. So you can decide who goes first, and then we alternate.
We go first.
I'm guessing security goes first. Right?
Yeah, do you mind if I shoot first?
Yeah, go for it.
Well,
And that's
I wasn't even
Traz.
going to shoot. Yeah, Shraz will shoot his phaser. It's on stun, right?
Yeah,
It's always on stun, right?
It's presumed on stun. There will be situations where stun settings will not work, and that will be obvious, and you would have to move to kill. But if you did that, every time you shoot to kill, you generate threat with each shot.
Okay. And I have a focus of hand phasers, so I assume that works.
It does.
Yeah.
All right. So again, with combat, what did you roll? Did you roll?
I got 2 successes.
So you've played this before, so you know what you're using for your melee attack?
Well, it's control and security, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that is a success. So you can go ahead and roll your damage.
All right.
All right, so you did a total of 6 damage. Damn. And you have 3 effects to spend if you care to.
I don't. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to really do more damage. I'm just trying to knock him down.
Yeah, and because you did more than 5 damage, he actually has an injury, and he drops to the ground with that one shot.
Oh.
How do you do the damage?
Whoa, knock that stun back a bit, man.
Just roll that back, roll the dial down a little bit. All right, yeah, so, yeah, just kind of slowly approach him and...
Okay. As you approach him, you can tell that, again, he's clearly been here from a while based on his appearance. He is stunned at this point, so he's not putting up any resistance.
I call for the doctor.
Yep. If the doctor cares to do a tricorder scan, you can go ahead and do that. It would be reason and medicine.
Is he wearing, can we tell if he's wearing a uniform? Or is it like just totally rag?
It is a uniform, but you're not able to glean much because it's in such tatters. You're not able to tell much regarding, rank or even what was he Starfleet? Was he something else? You can't really tell. He's clearly human.
How difficult is this roll going to be?
It's a difficulty 1, reason and medicine.
Nice.
Okay. There is a complication. I'm going to just say that complication generates some more threat. You can tell that he's under the influence of some sort of substance with a psychotropic effect. That might explain why he went to attack you. Maybe he's just antagonistic. You don't know, but he's clearly suffering from some sort of psychotropic effect. You suspect that whatever it is that is affecting him is causing him to be in an agitated and perhaps even paranoid state.
I have a question though. For purpose of focuses, I had one that's a doctor acts in the best interest of their patient. Would that be something I could have used in this case?
Yeah, I would have allowed it. Yep.
Okay. Just trying to get a feel for it.
Was that a value or a focus?
I had it under focuses, but maybe it's in the wrong place or something. New to the game.
I'll double check your character. But for now, yeah.
Is there any way to tell what caused it? Like, can we take water samples or plant samples or air samples and see if any of those are causing him to be sick?
You can go ahead and make a scan of the area. Yep. Reason and science, difficulty 2.
Because it might be.
You mean if my busted tricorder?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. All right, I'll do it.
Yeah. However, while he's doing that, I will check out the shuttle pod and see if I can get in.
You're able to get in. You can go ahead and see the ship's console is pretty damaged, but you could go ahead and make a check to see if you're able to glean any information from it. Shraz, is that your tricorder scan?
Yes.
Okay. The tricorder scan reveals that the nearby river contains some sort of chemical compound that acts as a psychotropic drug on the human mind.
Shiraz is like, hey, we should take some of this back to the ship and check it out. Or maybe not, actually. You Brainiac should figure that out.
All right. So for accessing the computers, is that a control science or is that reason science or?
That will be control. No, reason and science.
Okay. And I do have a computer focus.
Yep, that'll work.
Son of a biscuit.
Man, lots of 20s tonight.
However, I do have a bold talent here. I can re-roll a single D20.
Have to be a damn good roll. You need a critical success.
Oh, okay. No, that's when I buy it. I didn't buy an extra one. But yeah, that wouldn't work. Oh wait, I got computer expertise. I can add a bonus D20 to my pool.
Okay. Again, has to be a good one.
Yeah, not so much.
Yep.
It's a success, but not a critical.
Yep. So, and unfortunately, with the complication, this is going to create a gap in the information available to you. But as you're working through, you can see smoke coming from the computer, and you did something that the shuttle didn't like, and you can see sparks coming up from the console. You keep the fire from raging, but you sense that there was perhaps some data that's been lost.
Does
All right,
the
so-
shuttle look like we can get it functioning again, aside from the computers?
Not likely. Now you don't need it to get off. You can just beam off, but not likely that you're going to get it working, especially after Ra got done doing what he was doing.
Whew, man, this this computer got toasted. Oh,
Yeah, Shraz walks over to Ra and he's like, everything you touch is blowing up. Usually that's my job.
I've been really thinking about switching to a different conditioner. You don't have any idea about the static electricity you wind up generating like this.
Oh, the fur. Right.
All right, somebody
these
was doing
older
something
pods aren't
else.
well insulated against grounding shocks.
Was somebody making another check?
Shraz was scanning for the stuff that was affecting the guy, and you said it was coming from the water?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what we can do with that.
Are you going to take a sample and take it back to the ship or no?
Yeah, I imagine, right? You science guys want that?
You science guys want that?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit here in the useless shuttle pod and
Science guys.
play the Dunsel scientist.
You nerds want this?
You nerds want to take this? That's amazing.
Okay, so you're going to take a sample. That's something you don't need to check to do. You're able to take the sample pretty easy. As you're collecting the sample, you are hailed by the ship.
Nice.
So who did you guys leave on board that would have been left in command?
Oh. Good call. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Our con officer, right?
Yeah, Tiraka.
Okay. Tiraka hails you and informs you that, Captain, the wormhole is inexplicably growing. And that is actually adding to the threat pool.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah, the gravitational forces generated by the anomaly have begun to pull the ship out of orbit, and it's taking everything we can to keep her in orbit. It's putting a great amount of strain on the engines.
All right. Do we need anything else here? We got to get back.
We're taking this guy with us?
Yeah, take him with.
I'll check the patient to see if he needs to be sedated, and if so, do so. Otherwise, ready to go.
All right, get us up there full, what's the word I'm looking for? Full quarantine protocol. Bring us up.
Yeah. And I'll try and grab the hard drive out of this thing, because it probably does in the shuttlecraft.
And as soon as we're on board, get us out of the danger area.
Okay. You are transporting back to the ship. Somebody want to make the check? Just to see if somebody winds up as space dust?
We don't like it.
or halfway in the transporter.
Yeah. A complication could be a problem here, but otherwise you're okay.
So
go ahead and
everyone's
make the
saying
check.
they want me to make the check here.
Yes, that's what we're saying.
Does it involve a computer or a tricorder?
I'm sorry?
Does it? No, I'm just saying. Just don't blow up the transporters.
All right, what was the check on this? Is it science and control, or?
For the transporter check, it will be. Yeah, let's go with control and science.
All right, and
Okay. That succeeds. You gain a momentum. You are beamed back to the ship. Yeah. Who did we say that was? Yes. He informs you that the ship has lost quite a bit of power as it attempted to stay in orbit. So your power reserves are pretty low at this point. Basic ship functions are operating on battery reserves at this point. So at this point, there's not much chance of you breaking free of the gravitational pull here without putting an enormous strain on the engines and risking overload. If your ship reaches zero power, it will suffer an engine complication. And the engines can overload, fusing dilithium crystals. And if that happens, the ship cannot generate power and warp drives become impossible.
That doesn't sound good at all.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. We need to try to get away from the wormhole and affect. Not. I don't want to use the word repairs, but yeah, I guess repairs or efficiencies on all of our systems.
I have a question we might look for the answer to. If the other ship is not being pulled into the wormhole, we should find out why and do what they're doing. Maybe.
Can we tell what the effect of the wormhole is on that ship?
The only information you were able to glean on that, because of the distance with the ship being in the wormhole, is that it's phasing in and out, and you're not exactly sure why that is.
For all we know, it could just be our sensors interacting with the gravitational event horizon on it.
Captain,
Well-
if I'm not
Yeah, go ahead.
needed on the bridge, perhaps I should take the patient to sickbay and try to stabilize him, see what information we might
Very
be able
good,
to.
doctor. That's an excellent idea.
I'll head down to the sickbay with the patient.
All right. And I guess I'm not a good person to be captain because I can't remember what somebody said 2 seconds ago. But let's back away. Well, no. What are the recommendations of the crew? What do you guys think we should do?
We can try
You
to get
know,
more power.
yeah, we could attempt to try a slingshot with using the since it's drawing us in with gravity. We could attempt a slingshot off the wormhole, since we do have limited power.
And are
Or
we
could just
under the impression that we cannot break the gravity right now? We can't get away?
At the moment, you are unable to without trying to reroute power. As you are contemplating this,
Yes.
all hell breaks loose.
Of course.
The ship is starting to break orbit and is being pulled into the wormhole. So you can hear everybody moving as the people rush to stations trying to get the ship to reverse, but it is slowly and inexorably sliding towards the wormhole.
All right, so I guess it is safe to assume that since we can't break away, it will not only be better to move toward it for the slingshot, but also try to go faster toward it to get more momentum. And it should be easy to go toward it, since it's not easy to go away from it.
Mm-hmm. And in the process, hopefully, we can get something rerouted into the engines to give us a little more oomph to try and make the breakaway.
Now you are moving towards the phasing ship, but hold that thought for a moment. Who was escorting Lieutenant? Who was escorting the haggardly man that you dropped on the planet?
Toprak.
All right. Toprak, how are you escorting him down? He was unconscious. Did you get some sort of cart? Are you carrying him?
Well, I would have grabbed probably someone from sickbay as well to perhaps meet me at the bridge, or meet me. Actually, I guess we're at the transporter room. Meet me at the transporter room. Then we would have used a cart or something like that to transport him to.
Maybe a security officer might have suggested a red shirt go along.
And I'm sure there's a standard protocol for transportation of,
Well, yeah.
beamed up creatures to sickbay. There's got to be a regulation that would dictate what was.
Well,
how
technically,
that's
we wouldn't be able to go to our stations because you said that we're supposed to go up in quarantine mode because we were down.
Yeah,
on
I thought
the
we were all going to
surface.
be in a quarantine, but.
Oh,
yeah.
But I said that thinking that how that happens is you beam aboard and they there's a force field and then they scan everybody and then they say, okay, everything's clear, and they drop the force field and we go about our business. That's what I assumed was happening. If there's a different
and if that's the case, that's fine. It would have taken up a little bit of time, but eventually you would have been cleared to go about the ship.
And then
So at
as
the very
far as
least,
the escort to sickbay, normally there would be like he said, somebody would meet him, and then they would, if he's incapacitated, they would have some sort of way to transport him physically along with guards, because we don't know who the fuck this is, right?
Yep. Okay, so you're thinking 2 red shirts and I'm sorry, I keep forgetting who's
A
escorting.
nurse.
Another sickbay person.
Okay. So a total of 4 of you escorting the unconscious man to sickbay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you are escorting him down, you see his eyes pop open, and he immediately leaps off the table and starts to run down the corridors, looking frantically for a way to escape. So he is running away from you, and you can decide what you're going to do at this point.
Previously, I'd asked if I could sedate him. Did that occur? Or?
It did for a while, but there's something about the interaction with the psychotropic drug that caused his adrenal glands to kick into overdrive and overcome the effect of the sedation.
Well, pursuit.
Okay. What are you going to attempt to do? So he's in a weakened state, and he's just recovering from having been stunned, so he's not the fastest of people. You're able to come over him pretty quickly.
Yeah,
are you going to try?
The two red shirts will try and tackle him, and
okay. Trakar or Toprak, whoever it was, go ahead and make an unarmed strike attack. So it'll be opposed melee check. So it will be, I believe, is it control and security for the melee attack?
I think it's daring and fitness.
daring and security.
Daring and security. Thank you. These will be opposed checks, so go ahead and make a daring and security to see if you're able to grapple him, and it will be opposed, so he will make his check.
So there's no specific in this instance.
Nope, you just got to get more successes than him. Now he has a hand-to-hand focus. Okay, so he succeeds, you do not. He's able to escape your grasp. You can try the two security officers as well. For ease of use, two different people can go ahead and make a check. We'll assume they've got the same ranking as Toprak, so that was a 13.
I'll do the other.
Okay, so one of you succeeds, one of you does not. Let's see if he's able to beat the one that succeeded. And he is. So he's continuing to run. He rounds the corner and he is heading towards, we're going to say engineering at this point. You've got another chance to reach him.
Asked to initiate security protocol.
What are you going
to? The red shirt who had succeeded but got beat was like asked to initiate the bulkhead lockdown of the section he's running into.
Okay. And you're going to try and lock down the bulkheads?
Yeah, because Shraz will get on me if I don't sit there and get this under control quick.
Okay, so go ahead and you're going to try and do a lockdown. We'll say control and
Engineering.
I'm going to say control and security or control and... No, control and security.
All right. You want me to roll that on off of my character, or
yeah, if you can. If not, you can do a straight die roll. Either one. Better off your character sheet so we can track successes. Okay, that's a success. You keep him from going into engineering because the corridors are in lockdown now, so he's basically cornered, and he looks like a wild dog as he approaches the four of you, and he moves to attack. So one of you can go, and then he will go, but it's an attack. He's moving to do a melee attack, so you can go first. You're prepared for him. Are you going to engage in melee or just shoot him down like a dog?
I'd still rather subdue him, and then I'd like to be able to get some information from him. I have a feeling if we knock him out, we're not going to get any information. So I'd like to try to subdue him.
Okay, go ahead. You can grapple him.
That's just a straight up roll, just like before.
Yeah, what did we say it was? Control and security?
Daring and security.
And then that'll be opposed, so he'll make his check. All right. You succeed. You can go ahead and do your subdual damage. He's already been damaged, so he's at a reduced. He's got 6 injuries right now. So go ahead and roll your damage die on your melee. That's a total of 6. That again drops him, and he is out. He's got a second injury now, so he's going to need some pretty immediate medical attention.
Luckily, it's the chief medical officer that just put him down.
He's right there. The doctor's right there.
He laid his healing hands upon him.
So quickly to the sick bay where I can get the best equipment to treat him, and let's try to stabilize him and get him in a better condition so we can actually start.
Yep, you can do a reason and medicine check. To try and stabilize him in the sick bay.
I'm just checking my talents here. Can I use that momentum? You think it might be useful?
Totally, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what difficulty is this?
This will be a difficulty 2.
Sorry, I'm just looking at this stuff. So would emergency medicine come into effect here? Or
Yep,
something?
absolutely would.
So I can make that focus then.
All right. That generates 3 momentum.
Wow.
And you are able to stabilize him, which was a good thing because he had actually suffered 2 injuries. A third injury would have killed him. So he is stabilized at this point. You do have the ability to do a more insightful scan of him at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, do an insight and medicine check. Okay,
Doctor
2
needs to roll
successes.
everything. Holy shit.
He is clearly under the effect of that hallucinogenic. With the samples that you created or that you gathered from the water supply, you think you might be able to make a pacifying agent into a hypospray. So if you wanted to take that and try and concoct a cure to, well, not necessarily a cure, but a pacifying agent, you can go ahead and make another insight medicine check.
And what difficulty did that?
With the sample that you gathered, it's actually not that hard because you're able to isolate the hallucinogenic. So it'll be an insight and medicine check.
Okay, and would virology come into play?
Absolutely. Okay. You've got another success, or another momentum. And he is pacified. He is still drowsy, but he is no longer. He doesn't have that wild look in his eyes anymore, and he is conscious at this point.
I'll talk to the bridge and let the captain know that he's available to be talked to at this point.
Okay, so you got two things going on right now. You've got the wild man that you picked up off the planet, who is no longer a wild man and is capable of communicating. You also have to deal with the ship, which is
Hurling
moving
towards certain
deeper into
death.
the wormhole.
Yeah. All right. So I think the plan is to increase speed, calculate the angle of trajectory, as it were, and loop around this thing and have it throw
Didn't someone
us.
have a? Go ahead.
And I was going to say, and have it throw us so that we can get breakaway speed, and we don't necessarily care which direction that is. You know, everybody always thinks the slingshot is you have to go at it and then orbit it all the way around like 300 degrees and then shoot off back the way you came. And that's not necessarily true. You just need to come at it at an angle where you can pick up such speed that when it curves you, it throws you off at like maybe, 30 degrees or whatever. You guys know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Okay, so we
It's
just
always
need
done for
escape
television
to
that
achieve
way. But
escape velocity.
yeah. So we would calculate all that and then do it. The end. Did we win? Is it over? I'm just kidding.
Captain, if it's fast you want, it's fast that I can give you. I'd like
Yes,
to move fast.
I want it all. I want everything there is and more.
And I'll aid him on the engineering roll.
Okay. So this is going to be a daring maneuver. So this will be a check, daring and engineering. And
right.
it will be assisted by the computer or the ship's engines and engineering.
I would like to use my daring and engineering, and I have many things that I can use: evasive action, inspiration, and composure. So, do you get to use more than one focuses, or are you just focused or not?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay. So, what's the difficulty on this?
It is going to be extremely difficult. And you're not entirely sure what the end result is going to be, but it is going to be difficulty 4. And you're not sure what the end result is going to be.
Okay, I am super worried about this. This is an important, to me, do or die situation, so I'm going to use all 4. Can you use all 4? Or is there a minimum or a maximum momentum thing?
You can use all 4, and that will purchase you 2 extra dice. The way it works is it's you get the max, and I'm trying to remember the numbers now, but basically the most you can purchase if you used all of your dice would be 3. You have enough to purchase 2.
I can use a point of determination to use my value. There's no point in moving unless it's fast to give you a crit success, so 2 successes if I assist.
Okay, let me go back and understand. I thought that each one of these momentums was a die. Is that not how that calculation works?
Nope. The first die costs 1, but then the price of each subsequent die goes up. The most you can buy is 3. And so I believe it is what is it? 1. The second die costs 2. The third die costs 3. I think that's the way it works.
Okay,
Yes.
so I can only buy 2 anyway for 3.
Correct.
Okay, so I'll buy 2. And then do I... You said you were going to add your speed, or you were going to give us 2 successes. Do I do anything with that, or do I just roll this and you add that?
I was going to try to assist by using my value. There's no point in moving unless it's fast by using a point of determination. So I think that gives us the perfect opportunity, which is a crit success.
That does.
So I'm going to go ahead and roll, and then we'll add that then. Is that how that works?
Yep. And I was gonna assist in souping the engines up, so to speak.
There's
Which
still
I
the
think you
ship.
said was daring engineering.
Yeah. So I'm waiting. I mean, I'm ready to roll, but I'm waiting for everybody to defend. Like, I want to know, like, when do I do? I don't see. I'm new to the game too, so I don't really totally get it.
So I've got things that could be applied to this would be quantum mechanics or warp field dynamics. Because I'm inverting the warp field to sit there and into the dumping the excess power from the warp field into the impulse engines.
Okay. But the thing that Penumbra did, that gave us automatic successes.
Yeah, so the determination gives you 1 dice, but it automatically is a crit. So you get 2 successes for just 1 dice. Or 1 die.
All right, I'm going to make this roll, and then we'll figure it out. Here we go.
All right, that is 3 successes, which falls 1 short.
But then we got another one.
You had the 2. Yep. So you get the additional momentum on that. And your planning seems to work. You pick up quite a bit of speed, and you look to slingshot. Unfortunately, the ship just doesn't have the power and is unable to escape the wormhole. So you're still kind of stuck. But what you are able to do is get much closer to the ship that is already stuck in there, and you're able to get a much clearer read of the ship that's stuck in the middle of the wormhole now. So you're able to conduct a scan of that ship. If somebody wants to make a quick check, you were able to maneuver closer to that without damaging your ship.
I'm pretty sure I know.
What would we make for it? This an engineering or science or?
I'm just trying to find it. Hold on.
Sorry, Captain. I thought we had it there a moment.
She doesn't have the power.
So what we accomplished was shooting really close to the wormhole.
Yeah,
and
we just got there faster.
Okay, you can go ahead and make a insight and science check, assisted by sensors and science.
All right, so we got 2 successes, and then someone needs to
Sensors
roll
and
the
science was going to be 8 plus 3 is 11. And the 14 is higher than 11.
Cheerbits in the stream. Thanks for the cheerbits.
All right, so you got the 2 successes, which is enough
Lord
to
Arctic Frost, thank you so much. Cheerbits. Thank you
learn
very
a bit
much.
of information. So, where is that? You're able to pick up some intermittent sensor readings now that you're closer to the ship. The ship signature indicates that this is the starship Atlantis, and that there are 50 human life signs aboard. The ship originally had a full complement of 83. Most of these ships' non-essential systems are offline. That includes transporters, and the structural integrity of this ship is barely holding. The estimated time to full structure collapse is a matter of hours.
So this is the Starship Atlantis from 110 years ago? The NX class from the Romulan Earth War.
Yeah, those things don't even have shields, man. They have like phased arrayed hull plating.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
what's
know.
it doing here?
Rosencrantz-Einstein Bridge, remember?
That's right.
Thing
That's
out
right.
there. Crosses time, space.
So, folding of space, something like that.
Captain, can we hail them and see whether we can communicate to their crew?
By all means.
Okay, you can open up the hailing frequencies. That's not going to require a check.
So, are we still being flung towards the center of the wormhole, or are we
No,
kind of
we're
like
No,
stuck.
you're kind of stuck at this point.
okay? It's like an eddy, gravity eddy.
And
Can you clear up that interference?
you're not able to make any contact with open hailing frequencies.
So does my patient appear to be lucid?
He is. You can go ahead and question him if you care to.
I'll ask his name, just try to get an evaluation. What was he doing on the planet?
He tells you that he gives you his name, rank, and serial number. His name is Lieutenant Kearney. He was an officer serving aboard the Atlantis. His commanding officer is Captain Reinhard Suarez.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Toprak. Do you feel that you're in a dire situation currently? How do you feel about the current situation? Do you feel like you're trying to see if he's paranoid? He's giving me name, rank, and serial number.
He says he's not sure why he attacked you, but he's not sure who you are either. So he's not wildly aggressive, but he is on his guard.
I'll come up to the bridge again and let the captain know that he is willing to talk. Would he like me to bring him to the bridge?
I'll come down there. And then
I tell you what, Captain, I'm pretty good with people. I'll come along with you.
yeah, okay, by all means.
You gonna start smoking when you do a check on him?
I start smoking? What happened?
Create internal injuries.
I'm just rolling up my catnip. Don't worry about it.
All right, so you guys can head down to
Yeah.
sickbay and discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna try to find out if he's like, I'm kind of confused. Is he? I don't do well unless I'm watching the show. I need to see the things happening. I can't just listen to it. Do we know if this guy had anything to do with that ship in? Like, is he a part of that crew, or do we not have any information about that?
On the way down, I'll remind you that the shuttle pod was from the Atlantis.
It was, okay. Yeah, thank you for the reminder, because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, with the information
I'll
you give
remind
me,
you that as a Catane, one of the things that usually comes with us is that we're generally known as being having a disarming nature in social situations, so we can kind of diffuse things a bit.
and I will also use the information he gave to look into the database to see if he is showing as having been on.
So, what's the question you're posing to Lieutenant Kearney?
Well, he already gave me his name, and we know he's part of the Atlantis. I just want to confirm that. So the captain comes in, I can just basically give him
He
a
does.
report.
He confirms. He confirmed earlier he was from the Atlantis.
And he does show up in the database as being on that ship. As part of the crew.
Yep, he was part of the crew.
Ooh. On the way down, I'll ask the computer what was the fate of the Atlantis? Was it lost?
The last. Hold on. Let me see how much of this you would have received. Okay, you would have gotten the first personal log at this point. So let me mask some of this. Give me a moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's going slowly.
Captain, on the way down, you might want to get a scotch. I think might be a good way to sit here and help him loosen up a little bit.
Oh, I thought you meant it was for me.
Both of you. You also need one for me, too.
There we go. All right, so you would have received, this would have been logged with the historical records. The rest of it would not. So there is a personal log entry for Lieutenant John Kearney. And his last entry before it went dead was the Romulan bird of prey crashed before her crew could enable the self-destruct mechanism. A cheer went up among the crew in the torpedo bay as huge sections of the enemy vessel burned up in the atmosphere. I don't blame the crew for cheering death. We spent weeks playing a deadly game of cat and mouse through a nearby asteroid field until we finally got the jump on them in this uncharted star system. Scans of the planet revealed the whole segments of the hull went down intact and were strewn across the debris field over 100 kilometers long. Captain Suarez set us to the planet's surface to salvage the wreckage for technology that might help the war effort. And then any subsequent entries were never entered, at least with Starfleet.
Okay. So all that
that's why
debris
we
down
asked
there was
about,
Romulan.
Right.
Would we not have?
fate of the ship.
Yeah, when we beamed down there, would we not have immediately recognized that was Romulan technology?
The crash was so extensive that if you would have scanned it, you would have determined that. But you had come up before you would run the scan on the debris.
Okay.
Is this personal log from this Lieutenant Carey? Or is it just somebody?
Yes.
Kearney?
Nope, it is
Kearney.
his. Yep. You were able to cross-reference it and pull it up.
Okay.
That's good stuff. We can use that in a conversation with him.
That's good stuff. Oh boy.
Well, think of it this way, at this time, since we're, are at war with the Romulans instead of the Cold War that we're currently in with the Romulans, basically we're showing we have access to Starfleet records. And he may not trust the Vulcan there because Vulcans and Romulans look so much alike.
Now, so just to set the scene, we've got about 5 minutes left. Kearney is no longer suffering from the effects of the psychotropic drug, but that does not mean that he is healthy at this point. He's still, his system is still ravaged with a lot of viruses that he is fighting off from having been on the surface of that planet. Nothing that was inherently dangerous while you were down there, but he is in need of some additional medical treatment. So he's stable, but long term, he's going to need additional treatment. So that's one thing. The other issue that you're facing is you are currently in the middle of a wormhole, unable to escape because your ship power has been drained. You see the U.S. Atlantis phasing in and out before you. That is the ship that this guy, Carney, had come from and had gone down to the surface. There were some additional log entries on the shuttle that you were unable to retrieve, but it's possible there's more information on that ship, the Atlantis, if you can get to it. So your immediate concerns right now are treating this castaway and finding a way out of the wormhole. The immediate potential next step is perhaps trying to learn information from the Atlantis. You are unable to hail the Atlantis. You might be able to find a way to get on board the Atlantis. So that's where we'll start up our next session when we meet back up.
Pretty
All
awesome.
right, sounds good.
All right.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
So next
Yeah,
week,
great.
same time.
Unfortunately, I have to travel for work next week. I don't know if I'm going to be back in time for a Thursday game, so we may have to do it the following week.
Oh,
I'll
two
know
weeks?
more.
Okay, yeah, skip next week.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I apologize for that, but I got to travel for work, and I think I'm going to be in the air Thursday night.
Okay, so we'll say the 19th.
Yep. Yeah. Why don't I think it's likely that I'm going to be traveling, so why don't we just go ahead and say the 19th?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. If you guys created any additional characters and have your sheets, send them off to me. I'll input them into the system if you haven't already. If you have any questions regarding it, just send me a DM. Otherwise, this was a real fun first session. I'm looking forward to doing more with the campaign.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
Talon.
Alan.
Thanks, guys. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
See you then. Thank you. Bye.
All right, so there they go, everybody. That was the crew of the USS Entity. It's Unity, not Entity. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So we're going to skip a week, I guess. So we'll come back in 2 weeks. Actually, I already made the slide for that. Let me change that real quick before I forget. Oh, and then I need to go to my social media manager. I already sent her the slide. I need to delete it because it's wrong. Delete it. And change it, link it, lock it, change it, and so I'll make a change on that, and then we'll get everything squared away. So I think I'm gonna email, or I'm gonna message Talon and let him know this, but I really have trouble visualizing that. I am not suited to be the captain. I think I'm gonna have to bow out of that role. It's a fun game, but it's so not like D&D, and I just fucking can't keep track of what's happening. And so I'm gonna maybe not have to be the captain, which kind of sucks. And I didn't really choose that anyway. They sort of told me that, but I just don't think I can do it. I'm just not good at it. And so I'm gonna ask if maybe somebody else wants to do that. Wait, what? Oh no, I'm in the wrong one. Damn it, I'm in the wrong one. Let me go to the other one. Here we go. Episode 1 is going to be the 19th. Whoa, what is all this? So not the 12th, but the 19th. All right, so file, save as JPEG, right? Don't worry, everybody. I'm going to give everybody the industry rewards. I didn't forget. All right, so that file is saved. And now I'm going to exit Fantasy Grounds. And then I'm going to exit VC. And I'm going to turn off the PDF for the game. I don't need anymore. And oh yeah, I gotta send her the slide. Send her the corrected slide. Pictures. Twitch. Star Trek. Send it. Good. Go to the schedule in my Discord and say no game on the 12th, right? You got to keep up with the shit, everybody. Edit Star Trek. Thursday, no game, 12/12. And then I'll type to them later. All right, now I got to give you guys the end of stream rewards, which I will do now. Boom, everybody gets points. Even though we didn't use the... What? Rob Tui 100 was not found. What the fuck are you talking about? Add points. I did it backwards. There we go. Even though we don't use for Star Trek for the Thursday game, we're not going to be using the XP because you can't like give advantage and buy a potion, right? It's all D&D stuff, so you can't do it. But we will still give the end of stream rewards because why not? Know what I'm saying? I think you do. All right, so end of stream. Here's all the things, guys, that you can do to participate with the stream. Thank you, Frost, for telling me I did well. But I didn't enjoy being the captain. I enjoy the game. I just don't enjoy being the captain, which naturally, like, given if it was real life, if we were flying around in spaceships, I would want to be the captain. But that's because I would be able to see shit. I don't do well when there's not a combat map. I can't play RPGs that aren't D&D and I don't have a combat map to, role playing is just fucking not my thing. So I can't do it. All right, what did I say? Oh yeah, you guys can come to the Discord channel and go to the Patreon page. I have levels for as little as $1 there. You can cheer bits, donate, or sub to the channel. And thanks, by the way, guys, for the subs and the cheers today. If you do any one of those three things, you do attack the bit boss, which is still Lady Shell at 66.75, because she's the bit boss. That's how she does it. You can go to the DM's Guild and see what's for sale over there. How many did we sell today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 items today, and the day just ended, 9 o'clock. So 14 items for today. By the way, don't forget, mark your calendar, December 24th and 25th. That's going to be the 48-hour Monster Insanity Sale. Everything 75% off. It's going to be insane. It truly is going to be insane. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter or check out the Facebook page. It's very bouncy and so much going on. I was getting confused. Yeah, it is. It is confusing. All right, everybody. Let's just go over the shows real quick before I close the stream. Tomorrow is Mad Mage. Saturday is Baldur's Gate. Sunday is Acquisition Incorporated. Sunday is also All Things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show, and we're going to be showing Unity. So get ready, everybody. Come watch the show on Sunday. Unity. That's right. Monday, Module Creation Monday, and then back to Thursday. But this coming week on the 12th, there will be no Thursday game. It'll be delayed a week to the 19th, right? There you go. Boom. And then back to Friday again. Okay, that's how you do it, everybody. I'm going to go watch Thursday Night Football, I guess, and enjoy a cold beverage. I don't know what I'm going to do. But we'll see y'all back here tomorrow, and until then, good gaming, everyone.